Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silver Sunday, this January the 24th. And this is going to be an interesting session. I am on a loaner computer, and you can't tell it yet, probably, but you will as the stream goes on, because I have really nasty lag, as you can see everybody nodding. So this is going to be interesting. I sound fine, but I see everybody reacting to my comments like 10 minutes later. So I know that there is a really nasty lag here. So welcome to Silver Sunday. We are going to soldier our way through and see what we can do. So I'm Roland. I am the writer of Cat and Mouse, Trumps, and the Silverline Team Up. And so I'm just going to stop here and let everybody go around and introduce themselves.
Okay. I'll go first. I'm Curtis Fujita. I'm the creative director at Silverline. I'm also the creator of the upcoming comic book Shadow Ghost, the Kung Fu comic by a Kung Fu master, because I do Kung Fu. And I'm going to pass the baton over to John Martin. John, go ahead.
Hey, I'm John Martin, and I am the inker on Friar Rush and Wolf Hunter. I am also the resident Viking and troublemaker. Now on to the penciler.
That's me.
He knows who he is.
That's me. Hi, everybody. I'm the penciler my name is Peter, but I'm the penciler on Champion of Miss Fury, or Silverline Team Up, Champion of Miss Fury. Yeah, there's not much more I can say to that, really. You can see me penciling away on page 5, issue 2, page 5 tonight. So I'll pass you off to my colorist, Roberta.
Hello, my name is Roberta Conroy, a graphic designer during the daytime and a colorist on the next issue of Cat and Mouse and the Champion and Miss Fury Team Up.
Great. Aaron, I think you're up.
I think I'm the last one on here.
Yeah,
I'm the penciler on Friar Rush for Silverline, and I also do my own comic, Godlings, which you can find on Webtoons. And then I have something else coming up soon with Silverline that I'm excited about. So I think that's it.
Okay, and behind the scenes, we have the unpaid producer, Brett Mann, who is turning all the knobs and clicking all the buttons that need to be done behind the scenes. So thanks to Daytona Beach Comic Con, Tom Roth there runs a fantastic service, fantastic show. So looking forward to getting some dates from him and working things out. So this is not a conversation for today, but actually I'm going to write this down because this is a good topic.
While you write that down, Roland, in the chat, Tommy Flormonte, our very own Inker Supreme, just commented. He says, "Good evening, everybody," and he said, "Nice shirt, Roland."
Thank you, Tommy. We love us some kablam here at Silverline. Kablam prints almost everything we do, and the things that they don't print because they don't print stickers and they don't print those things. So they print our comics, our trades, our bookmarks. I think I've got bookmarks here handy too. So yeah, we love us some Kablam here at Silverline. So Pete, I asked you that because you know who Neil Adams is, of course.
Of course.
Yes, of course. So Neil Adams, I did a show with Neil Adams once, and Neil was very insistent, and I'm not, I'm not poking barbs at him or anything like it, but he's very insistent that comic book creators, charge for their autographs. I'm not sure where this comes from. I think it might be a little bit of, comic conventions have turned into media conventions, and if you want if you want an autograph from the third zombie on the left of The Walking Dead, you got to go pay your $60 to stand in line, and then And so I think that's where some of that comes from. It's funny.
The other side of that is the fact that you can have somebody, a creator like Jim Lee or Neil Adams or even Stan Lee, and instantly the value of the book goes up.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because I worked with Neil's son Joel when I was in Malibu, and I actually didn't know that Joel was Neil's son when I worked with him. And I saw him probably about 2014, and met him for the first time, face to face, and we were sitting there talking. And then in a conversation, he kept saying, "Well, Neil this and Neil that and Neil this," and I finally stopped him. I said, "You keep saying Neil. Who do you mean Neil? Who?" He goes, "My dad." I'm like, Neil Adams is your dad? He said, "Yeah, you didn't know that?" I'm like, "Dude, I had no clue." I'm like, "Why didn't you say something?" He said, "Because I didn't want you to hire me because Neil was my dad. I wanted you to hire me because of my work."
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And
awesome.
and of course, I did because I enjoyed his work. And so we talked a little bit about, because Neil had just picked a fight with somebody online. Was it Mark Wade maybe, about charging for signing autographs? And I think it was. Anyway, so Joel and I talked about that a little bit and kidded around. Now, he and his dad were kind of back to back at the convention. He was on one aisle and his dad was on the other. So I walked around to Neil and said, "Neil, there's a guy on the other row," and I said, he's won awards and he's a fantastic artist. I said, "He's not charging for his comic, his autograph." Neil, he puts his pencil down. He goes, "I know it, and I've told him he needs to start charging." And he knew exactly. I was talking his son Joel, right? And so he just launched into this thing, and then of course Joel, pokes his head back through. He goes, "Shut up, Dad."
That's funny.
It was kind of funny.
Oh, so Neil Adams yells at Buzz too, because Buzz is part of that whole crew. He doesn't charge either.
Yep. Yeah. So that's a topic for another day. We'll talk about that's actually a good topic. We'll talk about the idea of charging for autographs. For the record, I don't as well. I feel if you bought at least, and maybe if I become like Stan Lee or these guys, I don't know. But right now, I kind of feel like if you bought my book, you drop down some money, in support of me, then I'm going to give you an autograph if you want one. So, but yeah. So how did we get off on that? How did we chase that?
Well, what if they come up with a long box full of your comics and just stand there and? Because eventually, yeah.
So I have had a guy bring up a stack of comics about like this. Okay, now nothing like I've seen them bring up to. I've seen them bring up long boxes full of stuff for someone like Marv Wolfman, right? I don't know. I've had folks. Probably the most I've ever signed has been something like 30 to 35 copies, something like that. At this point, it doesn't bother me if someone brings, if they've got 35 books that I've done. Now, here's where it might bother me, Pete, and it's maybe where you were going. If they brought up, 30 copies of the same issue.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Then that that's not for their collection. Their intent is to try to resell them with my signature on it, I might have some problems there.
Yeah.
But if someone brings up a cat and mouse, Demon's Tales, and just a handful of stuff that I've done, then I don't really have a problem with that. Now I do want them to take it out of the bags. I cannot stand it when they give them to me and they're all in bags. I'm like, please take them out of the bags. I don't want to be the one that gets tape stuck to the back of your comic.
That's not your job. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sure. We have one. Just wanted to go back to the chat. Just a couple of people chimed in. So Wubba Wubba's in the chat. Wubba Fett said the shirt is awesome, and he said he's watching us on YouTube, but then he bounced over to Facebook. So good to see you, Wubba. And
why aren't you here, Wubba?
Exactly.
He says he's having a football party.
It's because of me. It's always because of me.
Yeah, good. You keep interrupting.
Yeah.
Well, also, Kasisi said hi. He said, hi, all. Hey, Kasisi. How's it going? Good to see you.
Hey, Kasisi.
What's up, Kasisi?
Yeah.
Kasisi wasn't here last week.
I'm doing some drawings for Kasisi.
Oh, yeah? What are you working on?
I'm on doing drawing some of his, I will be drawing some of his characters. He sent me some descriptions for some characters he's working on.
Yeah.
So I said
Nice.
I'd bang them out.
Nice.
Sweet.
So that was cool.
Excellent. Yeah, if with his permission, you'll have to maybe show him off here.
Yeah, if he's happy for that to happen,
in next week or something, whenever they make it to your schedule. Yeah, if he's sorry, next week.
I said to him, I'm going to start them this week. I said to him, I'll start them this week because he was very good and he paid he paid straight away. I was like, I haven't even started yet, but okay.
Yeah. So on a future Sunday, how about that? Is that better?
Yeah. That's cool. If he's happy, obviously, might be very protective over his stuff.
No, and I totally get it. If he doesn't want them shown, I think that's absolutely fine. But if he is okay with it, maybe we can know what you've done.
Well, Kasisi says, of course. So I think he's very agreeable with that idea. And Wubba, I think this is for John specifically. He says it's too loud here. His family members are yellers when watching football. It's nuts. So.
Is there some big game going on? What's going on?
Well, there's it's the conference championship games, and Tampa Bay just beat Green Bay, and I think it's Kansas City and.
Okay, yeah, that all means nothing to me.
Yeah,
it's American football.
Football ended for me.
It's dumb old American football.
Yeah,
and
football ended for me 2 weeks ago.
Is that like Manchester United v Manchester City or something?
No,
help me out.
No, not like that.
Oh, you mean English soccer? What?
Kasisi says, feel free to show his art. And Wubba says Wubba clarifies it's the NFL playoffs, and he said, Brady bought that game, but I don't know if he said brought that game or bought that
bought.
game.
It's bought.
Okay, bought.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, he's rich enough. He could pay the salaries.
Did he deflate the footballs again?
Damn.
But y'all don't remember. I guess the one remembers that. Huh? He's the one who did that, right?
Did he?
See, I'm supposed
there was
to
a
be hating
rumor.
here. All the jokes I can kick out right now because you're sitting here talking. Never mind. I'm gonna stop.
So yeah, please don't go there. Yeah, so there was a rumor going around a couple years ago that apparently he let the air out of a couple of the footballs.
Oh, it wasn't a rumor.
they're
It was found to
easier-
be true, and he was found.
Wow.
I'm just telling you, I don't follow it that closely. I didn't realize it was true.
Yeah, they fined him and suspended him.
Oh.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess if you let the air out of a football, it becomes easier to catch.
Yeah.
Easier to throw.
More difficult to throw, though.
Yeah, it's still pretty easy to throw because you can grip it better.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Hey, Brett, you got one of them art streaming.
And Wubba says, yeah, he was the villain in the Deflate Gate. So I guess that's what's called Deflate Gate.
Deflate Gate, nice.
Not to be confused with another gate in our industry, which we will not speak of.
Deflate Gate.
But yeah, Deflate Gate.
I must have missed that one. I try not to follow the gates.
Yeah.
Well, it's
So
the
Leon
game we've been
says,
talking about for a long, long time. So
All gates are really bad.
they are.
Watergate,
Yeah,
says,
they
the
tend to
Flake
be.
Gate.
Phil Leon says hi
Say
to all
again,
of us. He
Curtis?
says, "What's up, Phil Leon says, "What's up, Silverline peeps?"
Hello.
What's up, Phil?
Way, go away.
No, Aaron, I will not.
So,
Yeah, you will.
all right, so Brett, you got Pete up.
I think I'm just up there, aren't I? Do you want to? It's just
Yeah, I'm trying to find out from Brett if he's got you on the big screen.
Oh,
Brett,
I see the champion of Miss Fury art.
Can you put half of us, or can you put us to half the screen and put? Huh? You can't do that. Why?
oh.
But it
Yeah.
looks good. I can see
So-
it now. We're all in the top row, and then we have Pete doing his
Oh,
thing on the
okay.
bottom.
I get you. Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
Lord.
no, that's fine. That's fine. It's just I can't. I'm not about to open a browser again and blow my computer up. So Pete, tell us what you're drawing on there, since we can see it. We'll get
What
Roberta
am I
in a minute.
drawing on, or what am I drawing?
What are you drawing?
I'm really hesitant to move the camera because it took so long to mix it up. This is page 5 of Champion and Miss Fury. I'll pan it down for you, okay? Because I've actually done the bottom of the page.
Nice.
See all that?
That looks great.
Oh, look at
I
that.
see Fury in there.
Yeah, Miss Fury. You know, I was thinking of as we were talking about Kickstarter awards. I did some pages for a book recently called Miss Meow. Jamie Tyndall's Miss Meow, and as one of their,
cool.
as one of their stretch goals, they did this Miss Meow like cosplay outfit. It's just like what they call it. It's just like a lycra bodysuit, basically, with the Miss Meow design on it. Now, I was thinking we could do that for Miss Fury, but it would just be black. So I'm not sure how that would go down. I'm not sure how attractive that would be when people just go online and get a black catsuit. But yeah. But yeah, so this is
That could
page
be cool.
Page 5. We could do a demon one. You don't have to go and get the molds for the face and stuff, but that could be quite costly.
Very cool. Yeah, but actually, your old QB pal, HA, apparently knows how to do.
You can do 3D modeling, yeah.
3D modeling, and I've been thinking about doing maybe little demon bust.
Hey, that'd be cool.
Cool.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be very
That'd
cool.
be very cool.
Very cool.
The chat really likes what they're seeing, Pete. Tommy says nice. Wubba wanted to confirm that that's demon, which it is, and
it is.
Kasisi says nice work, and Phil says Worland sounds like he's been visited by the Borgs. LOL. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's the chat.
So Roland's been simulated.
Resistance is futile.
It is.
Okay, so go back to Kickstarter. Let's get on to the topic then. If you could pick one superpower for yourself, what would you pick? And I'm going to mute myself while someone picks up at the baton and goes.
Okay. I guess I'll go. So for superpowers, I was thinking about this. I was watching the Wednesday Wham show, and those guys had some funny ones. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna pick 2. So the first one I think would be one. We got time. How much time do we got? All right, one. All right, just one. It would be one would be probably to instill remorse on people. That would be it's a power that every mother has to some degree on her children. But imagine if she could put that out to the world, because imagine if everybody was remorseful for all the horrible stuff they did. And the reason I'm inspired by it is there was an old Japanese samurai show. I forget what it was called, but this samurai was like this magistrate for the government, and he had this tattoo on his shoulder of a beautiful rose. And at the end, he would find the criminal, and he would demand that they, confess their crimes, and they wouldn't. And he pulled down his sleeve of his kimono, and there'd be this beautiful rose, and he would say, "Do you see this rose? Do you see the beauty and the purity of this rose? Can you lie to the innocence of this rose?" And the criminal would always start crying and going, "No, it's too beautiful. I can't take it. I have to confess all my crimes to the beauty of that rose." And I always thought that would be the ultimate power. So
Is that
remorse.
got like Ghost Rider's penance there?
Ghost
Yeah,
Rider's
something
what?
like that.
Penance there.
The
Oh, yeah.
the stair penance.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think that would be a good power, you know. But that's my take. So I don't know.
I'd like a flaming skull. I think that would be pretty cool.
Like your skull or just a flaming skull?
No, my skull would be awesome.
Your
Yeah.
skull.
Just turn it on and off.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
You'd be every kid's favorite substitute teacher. Did you see what my teacher did today? Horrified parents.
They wouldn't mess around, would they?
No.
Either that or he'd scare the crap out of them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, I don't know. You know, I've always wanted to live forever, so I suppose having Wolverine's powers would help. Having his healing factor would be pretty cool. Never have to worry about getting old or getting sick or anything like that. That's nice. I think
Imagine all the comic books you could do if that was the case.
Oh, I know. Just all the things you could do would be brilliant.
Yeah.
I think everyone wants to be Superman, don't they? They want to have Superman's flight and lasers out of his eyes, and but then I think with that power, to quote Spider-Man, comes a lot of responsibility. You'll end up having to do stuff. You couldn't just laze around the house, you know.
Yeah.
You'd have to go and help people, and I'm not sure I want to do that.
The whole hero part of it.
He's revealing a lot about himself. And I don't really want to help.
You really need to
per
help
se.
yourselves, guys. You need to help
Yeah, I
yourselves.
just like.
I think my superpower
really wanna do that.
the superpower I want the most is Bruce Wayne's money. That I could really do some stuff with that.
Is that considered a superpower? Wait, what?
It is where I'm from. Really, Jeff Bezos, that I'd really do well.
I don't know. I think the one I'd probably go. I had this character I designed years ago, and I still like the power, and I think I'd actually like to do it. It was a weird power for sure, but it was one that I thought it would make you look cool. Apparently, it was the ability to see 30 seconds into the future at will. So you can figure out what's happening within split seconds of it. So, I mean, think how suave you'd be walking down the street, dodging everything, knowing everything's going to happen.
It's like a Jedi.
But you need to
Jedi, yeah, that was almost kind of like that. I always thought that'd be kind of a cool idea.
being shot at and stuff.
Especially like if you were like in a gunfight or sword fight. I mean, you'd be like 2 steps ahead of everyone. So you would look like you're magic. Yeah, perfect magic. So that, I don't know. That I thought always be kind of interesting one to have.
Until you get like really overconfident and forget.
I think that was the idea of like the because I always like to make superpowers for characters that have like a sort of fault or something they can't do. So that would be it. Overconfidence. It's only 30 seconds. So if you did something and you may not see it coming, so I'd have to think about that. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's good because like if you're going to eat something spicy, you would know if it would actually burn or not. You'd like pick up the burrito and like, no.
Right? Yeah, that's not gonna. Yeah.
These hot wings are not worth it.
You
The
don't
chat has
know
some
if you should
responses.
accept a marriage proposal or not.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Yeah, I should have seen that one coming.
Wubba
I
says,
hear something in your voice, Roberta.
No, that was just
the chat has some responses. First of all, Phil really likes the page that Pete's working on. He says it's a fine looking page, which it is. Yeah, and Wubba says he would want Silver Surfer's powers or Scarlet Witches.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, the hexing.
CC says, I think Nicolas Cage had that same power that Aaron's talking about in Next. He could look 1 minute into the future.
Oh, was that? So they actually did that in a movie? Okay, I've never seen that movie.
Yeah.
Well, if Nicolas Cage has it, then that's worth it right there, right? Isn't that kind of?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Don't
heard
tell the
Wednesday
Wednesday Wham
talk
guys.
about Nicolas Cage before. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I like the idea of super strength only when you need it.
Yeah.
You know, not all the time, so you wouldn't have
So
to
you're not like
save
tearing off
everything,
car doors or
but,
something.
but if something really bad happens, you can help out. I think that'd be really great.
That's cool.
Yeah, I really like that. I like that idea of powers where I don't need to help people. I think that's saying maybe because I'm tired. Maybe because I'm tired, it seems like a lot of effort at the moment.
Yeah. So the
I
power
just
of
sit down and
You
do
I
know,
can
it.
see
superpower
like
is going to be not to have to help people.
I like the guy. I don't know. I want to help. I want to help get people to help themselves. That's what you should be. Just standing over them. Just
be the ultimate
give them the
motivator.
power to help themselves. Help yourself. Get yourself out of this trouble. Come on.
Yeah, for some odd reason, I see like
falling down a ditch. Here, I got the power to conjure a rope for you.
I've got
Here
the
you
power
go.
to encourage you to get it out. Get out there yourself.
Yeah. Peter's going to be standing there like, come on,
Come on
come
now.
on,
You can do
come on,
this.
you can do it. Come
Do you
on.
want to die in that hole? Get yourself out.
you basically the powers of a motivational speaker like Tony
Yeah.
Robbins or something like that.
Yeah. And then as they go out of the hole, I just give them my invoice. Right, that's going to cost you.
But see, you are helping. If you're trying to motivate them, you are helping. I mean, I can see you more like instead of helping them out of the ditch is when the person climbs back out, you push them back in.
Push them back in. This is character building. Get yourself out again.
That's right. You
Why
get
is it
one, but
powers
you
to
do it
be a
again.
jerk?
I just appear anywhere that someone just pulled themselves out of a hole and just push them back in. Ah.
Bootstraps? We don't need those stinking bootstraps.
I know.
In you go.
Uh,
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Great.
Wubba says in the
I've
chat, he
always-
says, I'm sorry. Wubba says the
you
power
go
to
ahead.
be the world's most powerful hermit is what he was saying.
Yeah, Peter won't be
In
able
The
to
Last
eat for
Jedi.
days. Yeah.
Go anywhere.
I think I've always wanted the power to, not like a whole Superman thing, but I always wanted the power to fly. Be cool. It's like, oh man, I gotta go here, and then just step out my front door and then just fly to wherever I need to go, and not have to worry about traffic or
Yeah.
people and that kind. I just go fly there, and then here I am.
Or that what's
There
that
was a-
episode of the Twilight Zone where he can stop time with his pocket
There's a
watch.
stopwatch.
The stopwatch. I thought
Yeah.
that was so cool.
Yeah.
It obviously backfired on him because it's Twilight Zone. But if it didn't,
Well,
backfire, it would be great. I think that'd be awesome. I definitely
Yeah.
want one of those.
I could just see Roland going into international airspace and being shot down.
What happened to Roland? Well, he was flying over.
Dying.
Starting an international incident.
No doubt. Followed by Russian jets. We think he's American. How do you know? Have you heard him talk? That's got to be American.
There was a sketch comedy
Hey,
show
Roland,
called
how was your day? Well, I was being chased by Migs.
I know.
there
Those
was a
Russians
sketch
really don't
comedy
like
show
us.
called did you guys see that show called it used to be called The State. It was like a sketch comedy show, and they had a
Heard of it, yeah.
superhero sketch. Yeah, they had a superhero sketch where all the superheroes were upset because there was one superhero who could fly, but he didn't fly laying down, he flew standing up, and it just was ruining the style for everybody. And they were just
Oh, that's funny.
come on, dude, just lay down flat, fly normal. And there's just all this footage in front of a green screen standing upright, and just fly vertically. And it was like this whole episode about that. It was pretty funny.
Funny thing is, Dave Chappelle is
fly
like
feet
gone.
first.
My feet first. Didn't they do that in Ben and Snippy?
It's a lot of chafing.
Wasn't it like a powdered crunch guy or whatever would fly feet first? Wasn't that his big joke?
Was that it?
Or-
I don't remember that.
It's funny.
The world's longest drop kick.
Because
Dave
DC says
Chappelle talked about
teleportation would be
freaking
awesome.
comic book character. Yeah, teleportation would be.
Teleportation.
Mm.
I was thinking teleportation, but the ability to phase as well. So that way, if you teleport into a wall, you're not stuck. If you had Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler's powers together, you're gold. That would be the perfect pairing. Yeah.
That's good. I like.
Well,
I
as
like
long as
I like the idea of, having the like mind control would be so cool. But I wouldn't
mind
want to stick with
control.
just that. That sounds really
People could walk
too
themselves
ominous.
into the hole.
Menacing.
It'd be helpful.
Get in that hole, and they'll just do it.
It would help you out, Peter. 'Cause, you know.
Good time.
So, Roberta, are you talking like something more like a randomized power? Like you wake up one day, oh, this is my power for the day. Okay, let's give it a
Yeah,
shot.
yeah. See, that'd be great.
That'd be kind of cool. Just like
Here's what you could do for the day.
That's an interesting idea, isn't it?
Yeah, until you get a power that absolutely sucks.
Mm.
Yeah. That's true.
I think John has
Today
those
I
kind of
can talk
powers
to
in mind.
I really didn't want to talk to the algae, but today I can.
It wakes up like John's got the power to like talk to milk or something. Just like really lame powers.
Oh, look, I can
I'm
create
really
mud out of the
depressed
sky.
Out of the sky. Actually, I would have tons of fun with that because I could just see that I would just record the look on people's faces as they just go look up in the sky, see mud just coming down. Just wipe them out. That would be way too much fun. Especially if the mud pushed them back in the Peter's hole.
Hidden hole. Something's become my
Careful how you
hole.
say that.
I'm now making the hole. That's not the power.
The power's to make holes. Just on the people's feet.
Hey, I made a hole. Get in it. And people are like, but I don't want to get in the hole. That's my power. Get in the hole.
Get in the hole.
I don't want to get in the hole. Well, I'm useless then.
Hey,
I'm
Aaron,
no good
throw
on this
some mud.
super team. Like Aquaman, when he's having to fight something on land, he's no good. You're no good to us, Aquaman.
I know. That's what they had to give him the spear, the trident. Yeah. Well, I think that was Dave Chappelle talked about
No,
what would
Aquaman is good on the surface because of when you consider the fact of how strong he is and how quick he is in deep water under all that pressure. He's even stronger and faster on land.
Well, the one thing I never could figure out, if he could talk to fish and things in the sea, does that power go to amphibians? Because they also like water.
Yeah, where's it end?
That's kind of why I was kind of like birds are stuff, but amphibians? I mean, he could do that. People just being destroyed by frogs.
I wonder if he can hear them talk about. I wonder if he eats fish and hear the fish talking about him eating fish.
Well, he'd be horrible going to a sushi restaurant. Just the cries of pain from.
Don't eat me! Don't eat me!
Oh, he wouldn't. Well, take it.
Have you folks seen
what else can they eat in Atlantis? What can they
Have
eat?
you folks
other than
seen
fish?
Yeah. Have you guys seen that show? It's an anime called Ranma Half. It's kind of an old one from the 90s.
Yeah.
But
I know enough of
it. Yeah. So the deal is that it's a martial arts kind of anime, and these father and son train in China, and they're training in this region on these big poles, and they fall into this pool of water, and there's all these different pools of water that another animal drowned in. So the father falls into the pool of the drowned panda, and so now whenever the father gets cold water put in, he turns into a panda. And the son falls into the pool of the drowned girl. And whenever he gets cool water poured on him, he turns into a girl. And it goes on and on and on. And so every episode, they're making excuses for cold water, for it to rain, or then to fall in a river. It's kind of like Aquaman's powers, It's like you always have to find an excuse for him to be near water, right? Not in the desert or something like that. Yeah. So, crazy stuff. So Leon likes that the reference. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Phil Leon.
Oh yeah, the chat. Phil Leon says that he's a big fan of Powdered Toast Man. He says it's a good Ren and Stimpy deep cut. Yes, yeah, Powdered Toast Man. That's right.
Yeah, I knew there was like a joke like that because it would wouldn't the kids like grab his like buttocks and sit on him? It was really
yeah.
I can say that's bad, but that was on Nickelodeon, man. So that was a kid show.
What power would you not want to have?
What power would I not want to have?
Yeah, if you were like, if you you felt like, at the end of the day, you're like, man, I got stuck with this lane power. Well, maybe the question would be, what's the most lane power, and why would you not want it?
Well, I seem to be stuck with making holes.
Yeah.
That's pretty lame. I don't want to make holes. I don't want to do that. That's pretty lame. What's a lame superpower?
Talking to
Well,
fish
is
seems
it
kind of
lame
lame.
because you don't want it, or lame because it's not helpful? What's the
So
better?
I would say both of them. All right. So let's think you first, right? If you're like, I don't want this power because it's like Pete's power to make holes, right? I don't want this power because it's lame.
I
would
wouldn't
think
want to shapeshift, for instance. I think that would be really lame.
Oh,
Some
I'd
people
love.
think
I
it's
would love.
Really?
I'd have so much fun with that.
I
I
know.
don't want to be in whatever shape.
I can see Peter's wife being so scarred. She wakes up. What is it going to be today?
And I can see BJ yelling at Roland because Roland would be like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." BJ would be like, "Stop that! I told you not to do that."
always
So
thought the
Roland would
power.
stay in trouble.
I always thought the power to
I
make you
would.
could make your hair grow really long, or like retract your hair into your body at will really fast. It'd be lame. But then that might be fun to screw with the barber, cutting your hair and just keep growing it out. Seriously, dude, I just cut this. I guess you can think of all sorts of ways to torture people with any lame power.
So Curtis,
Oh,
do
that-
you remember the lane power from the Ultraverse days? Do you remember that?
Oh,
when
the
we talked about it in
parking
the
cars?
office?
Larry Niven?
Yes.
I'll let you talk about
Wasn't he
that.
the one that could park car? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I always thought, like,
I-
even though this isn't a power, because you could actually learn ventriloquism. But did you ever wonder if people who know that ever sit in like restaurants and make like people's hamburgers scream and yell? Like, when they're eating, like, I always thought, like, man, if I could throw my voice, there'd be so many people confused around town about things.
Have the lobsters talking in the tank at
I
Red
know.
Lobster.
Start speaking or whatever.
So you've seen Three Stooges episode, right, where these guys come into their restaurant and there's a dog under the table, and just as long story short, but just as they start to cut into it, they step on the dog's tail, and so it looks like they cut into it, and it goes "Brr," right, and they go, "Brr." Every time they start to do it, they step on the dog's tail, so the dog yells. So they think they're like trying to cut into it. It's really fun.
That's funny.
That,
I think some of the best superpowers have the biggest drawbacks, right? I mean, it's like
yeah.
the ability to read people's minds would be crazy, but I wouldn't want to know what people actually think about me, because I know half of them probably don't like me. So, it's like that would be a horrible power.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could.
You know that they would be looking you in your face, shaking your hand, and smiling,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh no, that's not. Your thoughts don't match your face.
Yeah, exactly.
You could even
I don't know
make
if I
that
can-
worse by saying the only thoughts you can read are when people are on the toilet or doing something
Oh,
else. Like,
what the-
I mean,
oh,
can you
no.
imagine?
You don't want that.
Because you think of
No.
all the areas that people would like think thoughts, and you think, well, there's certain areas that you would never want to hear people's thoughts. So what if it was only in that area you could hear their thoughts? That wouldn't be a power. That'd be
That'd be
torture.
terrible.
Yeah.
That would be torture.
Well, if you've been in some public restrooms that I've been in, some people are very vocal about what's going on their mind at that moment.
They
So,
are.
it's already a problem.
All right, so
I do not need the
never go
commentary.
to any bathrooms that Curtis has been to.
Right.
These are the ones in my bathroom. They just write it down on the walls. They leave you notes.
They're haikus and stuff like that.
What they'd be like, "Hey, how's it going? How you been?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fine. How are you been?" Having conversations over a series of 3 months.
Yeah. I bet you some people have actually done that, probably in school. I can see like students doing that in school for fun.
Some of the best stuff I ever saw was when I was in college.
Nope, we're not going there, Roland.
I know.
So a good funny clean one. Clean, I guess it is. was the first one I saw was in the college dorm. Right, it said flush twice. It's a long way to the cafeteria.
Flush.
Very good.
What was, another thing, I can add another amendment to the whole, reading your minds. What if you could only see people or read their minds when they're dreaming? Like, what if you could only interpret people's dreams? Now, that might be a weird one. I mean, you could
That's
get
actually
nightmares.
that's not lame. That's cool.
That would be kind of cool, but I mean, it would be like, yeah, that would, because I mean, what a way to peek into somebody. But then you'd have you'd be looking up the people. You dreamed about like riding pickles as a cowboy. I mean, like just weird. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Wait, wasn't there a new universe character that did that?
I don't know. Was
Night
it?
Mask, Night Mask, I think was his name. It was like Night Mask.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I just remember this line from this
Enter
movie,
people's dreams.
Real Genius, where he was like, some guy asked him, he asked this guy like, did you sleep well? And he's like, do you ever have a dream of like, what was it like? You're standing in sort of godlike robes atop this temple, and there's tons of women worshiping you down below and throwing little pickles at you. And he's like, no. And he's like, why am I the only man who has that dream? So like, if you were interpreting dreams like that, you just start messing with your head.
That's awesome.
But my wife is Chinese. I'm part Japanese, and we are watching the Ip Man movie, which takes place when the Japanese kind of took over China and were not too nice to the Chinese people. And in one of the scenes, the Japanese are just being horrible to the Chinese. And my wife is watching, and then she just kind of like has a jolt, and she looks at me. She goes, "Oh, sorry." And I realized she thought something really bad about Japanese people in that moment, but didn't vocalize it. But the thought was so strong that I think she thought I heard it, and she just goes, "Oh, sorry." And I go, "What were you thinking?"
Oh my God. Yeah,
So
I
close to
watched
reading
all
some
the
of these
Ip Man movies. There were 3 of them, right?
Curtis.
Four now.
Four.
So the 4 now? Okay, so there's 4. So I must not have watched the last one. I watched 3 of them, yeah. Yeah, they were great.
They're good.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's
stuff.
because Donnie
Curtis
Yen
sleeps
is an
wide open now.
underappreciated beast.
Yeah. He's awesome. You know he's from Boston, right? He's from Boston.
No way, really?
Yeah, yeah. He talks with a Boston accent sometimes, and yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he's a concert level pianist. There's footage of him playing piano at a concert. He's crazy.
Really?
And he's and he's knows what, like 6, 7 different forms.
Yeah, his mom's the martial arts master in the family. His mom was the master, and is the one that taught him initially. In the chat, we got a couple comments. Wubba says the power to make holes would be cool. Peter Clinton, you could make vast underground networks. And
yeah, that's a lot of responsibility. So I just like the idea of a shallow hole where you almost push someone in it, and they just tumble back and go, "Why'd you do that?" Not like a big gateway to the middle of the earth.
You could take that power. I mean, what if you could just not make a hole in the ground, but make a hole anywhere, like make a hole through a wall or something?
I'd be one of those characters that for years and years in the comic books, he was just this guy that made holes, and then suddenly a new writer would come along, and it's like, no, actually, you couldn't make holes in time.
Yeah, and then you could do all that.
Oh yeah, I suppose I could do that, but I don't know.
The amount of working calories.
What happens to the hole after I make it, though? That's the problem. I don't close holes and make holes. So.
Your nemesis is the guy who has to fill holes.
The shoveler who just has to shovel back in.
It's a shovel, and that's your nemesis, plotting your demise.
All city employees hate Pete.
I know.
Because they got to fill in all the holes.
I know.
Wubba also says he's referencing when we were making the toilet jokes. He's talking about the line from Austin Powers when he said, "Who does number 2 work for?" If you've seen that movie, that's a funny scene.
Oh
yes. I think Cassisi says 4. I think he's referencing Ip Man 4. And Quentin J. Bedwell says, "What have I walked into here?" Oh.
The crazy.
No idea. We've devolved in a matter of minutes. In a matter of minutes, we've devolved.
Yeah.
Well, I will answer both questions. The power
I'm sure it's
I
John's
would
fault.
want the power I'd want. No, it's not this time. It's between the healing factor and teleportation because it'd be kind of cool to be able to teleport. And of course, the healing factor thing, being able to take, not slow down aging, being able to drink all the alcohol you want, things like
So
that.
would the healing factor make you immortal?
I hope so.
Well, I mean, it
think
doesn't
so.
make Wolverine immortal. It slows down his aging. So eventually, at some point, he will die.
Yeah.
So that he stops
Would
healing.
you get drunk if you were able to heal?
In
No.
the comics, no. They, at least in Wolverine,
yeah.
they said he couldn't.
Yeah, because that
Well, in
would
Captain America
freak that
either.
all out.
Yeah, because he would sit there and drink all the time and smoke, and it never affects him. It just
But yeah, Wolverine was drinking buddies with Thor.
I always like the ones in who's drinking buddies with Nightcrawler. Those are my favorite.
Right.
Because Nightcrawler would get drunk and teleport into people's
Drunk
rooms
is
for
all
fun.
get out.
Funny.
And probably one of the worst powers is that dude, that one unknown X-Men character whose body looks like Jello.
Oh.
I always thought the one that was really lame was the guy who had
Like you see the eyes in the skeleton and
Yeah.
all, but his body looks like Jello.
Oh yeah. Looks cool though.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
There was a guy that had like these robotic, I don't know if they're robotic or these like worms or maggots that would hang on his shoulder.
Oh yeah.
And I think he
Was
was
he
actually
called
called
Maggot?
I
Yeah,
think that's what he was
yeah.
called.
Yeah,
It was Maggot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always thought like,
I don't remember him.
How did I miss that?
Yeah,
guy?
I remember him. Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
That's not a cool power.
no.
I'd rather be the hole.
Right up there with the holes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the hole's better than
Or Morrow, she like grew little bone spikes that she could throw.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. It's not,
It is
not very
cool.
pretty, but it's pretty cool.
It probably hurts though.
That's what I would think. You would think she tears them off and throws them. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, you have a lot of nerve endings. Wouldn't that,
No
but
wonder
then
she was
again,
always
I
angry.
guess. What?
No wonder she was always angry.
Yeah.
But also the nerves would probably adjust over time.
That's what I was thinking eventually. I mean,
Yeah.
it's supposed to Wolverine is supposed to cut through his hands when his claws come out.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, he's got a pretty high pain tolerance.
yeah.
What'd you lose, Peter?
I've lost a pencil. I'm sitting. Bloody hell. I haven't got up. I haven't moved anywhere, and the pencil's gone. And I'm like, where's the
So
hell
right
is it
now,
gone?
Peter wants the power to find his pencil.
It's gone in a hole. It's fallen down a hole.
That's what I'm thinking. Did it go in a hole?
Get in the hole. Must be here somewhere. I don't know. No, I don't understand how that's gone anywhere. It disappears all the time, this pencil.
So your pencil has the power to disappear.
I've got this pencil, which is fine, but I don't want to use this one. It's mechanical and it's going to
Oh, his pencil's like, screw Peter, I'm gonna hide.
I don't understand. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. It's back.
Scraping my head on this page.
The shoveler's returned it.
Shoveler. What Wubba says in the chat, he's telling Quentin it's one of those nights. So yes, it is. It definitely on stream it's one of those nights. And he says Marrow was in pain every time she did that when she would throw those.
She was okay.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. That's funny.
So if you could bequeath one power to your best friend, which power would you give them?
And would they still be your best friend afterwards?
Well, the problem
maybe
here is the problem here is whether or not you want to give him a power as a prank or a power as a good buddy.
That's
You can't take it back.
You can't take it back.
I'll take it back. Wowzers.
What you give it to them, that's it, right?
Or something that's going to be useful. Be no good to him. So what can I think of? So you just be walking around. Yeah, I've got this power, but can't do anything with it.
I think I'd give my friend the power that every time he spoke to me, he could only say nice things about me, and then I would just be asked to him.
Well, heck, that would get boring.
Power to
Oh.
autocorrect as he speaks.
Yeah, just auto. It just no.
Well, if it's a friend of mine,
On a
I'd make
break, I
the
could
power
do
to
some
grant
coloring
wishes.
for a bit.
You have the power
yeah.
to grant wishes.
Power to grant
If
wishes.
it's a friend of mine,
For
power to grant
everyone but
wishes,
yourself.
because I'm-
For everyone but yourself. Yeah.
But you've seen the Twilight Zone
What did Roberta say?
one with the kid, right?
I'm-
You sure you
you
want to
guys
do
are
that if you
too-
irritate him?
yeah,
You're
that's
on a
true.
roll, so I was saying if you want to swap out with me, Peter, I could do some coloring.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not sharing screen, so.
Okay. So
Um,
we're gonna have all of I can't see anybody's share screen because I cut it off.
Because CC says in the chat.
Who's doing the art right now?
no one. No, because mine's just
Oh,
the
okay.
video.
Well, that's why I can't see any art.
No, yeah.
Okay, good. So I have another page of pendulum that is together enough to color.
All right. I can turn this up so I can see my table.
I'm having a hard time fitting it all on my screen.
Of course, I can't see any of it. I trust it's there.
Here we go.
Did it come through?
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. We
All
see it.
right.
Ooh, now I can see it. Wow.
Yeah. So we
Good.
got some phone call conversation.
Nice.
Looks like an old-fashioned phone to me, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I think I would give I'd give my friend the powers of super seduction because he's married with 3 kids, so it's not going to help him at all with anything.
Oh, that's cruel.
That'd be cool. Hey, here you go. Enjoy this, won't you? Or what's that? Oh, right. Squirrel Girl. The ability to control squirrels. You enjoy that when you go to the park?
The ability to control.
Control the squirrels.
Yes, until they turn the squirrels against you. Remember, squirrels beat Thanos.
Did they actually beat Thanos?
Yes.
Squirrel Girl apparently did. Yeah, I don't know what that was in.
Kasisi has a good question in the chat. Kasisi says, does your favorite superhero have the power you've named as the power you would want? So initially, is there your favorite superpower have a power you want? Is what he's asking everybody.
Yeah.
No, I guess not.
Yeah,
but then I don't want the responsibility of being Spider-Man, as we've already made clear.
I'm gonna have to create a character that just makes holes just to.
Yeah, but not big holes. He just likes a little shallow hole that you people fall in. I don't want him going around making, these gigantic.
I'll make him look like Peter. He's gonna point a finger and somebody's
Space and
walking
time.
on their phone and just be like, "Boop."
In the hole.
Oh, watch where
They
you're going,
trip and fall in the hole. And because what I'm doing is I'm encouraging them to get themselves out of the hole. But first, I have to push them in the hole. So come on, you can get out of this. That's what I'm doing.
That's his motivational.
That's my real power. Come on, you can do this. Don't be a sucker.
I guess mine might, because my 2 favorites, from Marvel would be Spider-Man and the Vision. And the Vision has the power of flight. So I guess the answer is yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of my no, it seems like a lot of the characters I like don't really have superpowers. I'm trying to think of my favorite superhero. Well, I like Wonder Woman. But she has so many different powers. She doesn't have like a power per se. So, but when you're like, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, would you want an invisible jet?
Yes.
Who wouldn't want an invisible jet?
I kind of feel there'll be some mid-air collisions on takeoff, but otherwise,
Well, no. What I would do is just follow Roland around as he flies around.
Yeah.
Roland would be like, "Is there something following me?" I was, of course, it'd be hell of a time trying to find where I parked.
yeah.
Quentin J. Bedwell says in the chat.
Thing, right?
You had the beeper.
The fob. Quentin J. Bedwell says the problem with regeneration is getting trapped or stuck in space, a crevasse, in a cave, or in the ocean. You know.
Somewhere
Yeah.
that would kill
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you play a
Or
video
keep
game and the
killing
game
you, yeah.
crashes. Yeah, yeah, like stuck behind a wall or something, you know. Yeah.
Inconvenient.
And he said he would like an invisible jet. No, he said he'd like a visible jet. Yeah, that's actually better, a visible jet.
Yeah.
I mean, you could take that one step further and do an invisible car, but
Oh boy.
I mean, how would you even drive? All the drivers wouldn't even know you're there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't have an invisible car. That's a
Yeah.
no.
That would
Yeah.
be dangerous.
It's like I can't remember what show it was, but he made a wish that maybe it was Supernatural or something. They found a genie, he made a wish and wouldn't be invisible. So the genie made him invisible and he stepped out in the road and got hit by a car. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. You get hit by a car real easy.
That's like
that's when you wish you had all of Vision's powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could do the density.
Well, I think that's the difficulty of choosing just one, because when you think about like a Superman or even a Spider-Man, they've got multiple powers, and so when you think, well, if you just choose one, what's it going to be? It's like, well, the power of flight is cool, but if an airplane runs into me, I'm dead, right?
Yeah.
Because I just have the power of flight, not invulnerability.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, here's where it goes with regeneration, though. Or healing factor, because obviously you don't get the same things released like for fatigue and things like that. So you can actually be, I guess, considered even on a normal scale superhuman when it comes to like running and strength and things like that, because your muscles don't fatigue like other muscles do.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to have another power.
That's true.
Yeah.
Cassisi says Iceman has a singular power, and that's insane, which is true. There's certain singular powers. Usually it's like the element powers, I think. You can do a lot. Or super speed. I mean, the writers of all the decades of the Flash, I mean, they made this one superpower into something phenomenal. The amount of things you can do, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the idea. I mean, if somebody goes super fast, you can just think of all sorts of different ways to use it. But it seems like most of the most famous superheroes have multiple. Like Wonder Woman, Superman have multiple powers.
Yeah.
And they're more famous. Batman doesn't have any powers, but he has multiple gadgets, maybe.
Yeah.
He's multiple dollar bills.
I was going to say multiple dollars.
Yeah. Strangely enough, when it comes to Marvel usually has characters that have one general power. I guess the multiple, like Superman. I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions. Yeah. Because I'm trying to think of like anyone that Captain America is like strong. He's physically fit. Iron Man, Thor. I guess Thor might have multiple. He could do lightning and fly, and he's strong. So he might be more of a Superman type character.
Well, Iceman, because he's talking about Iceman. Iceman is actually one of those characters who has got one power, but he's incredibly creative with that one power.
Yeah.
I've even there was one time when he even like hulked up with his power, so to speak.
Well, think about the Fantastic Four also.
Yeah.
No, definitely. It's like in the martial arts world we have the saying, which is don't fear the man that's practiced 1,000 techniques once. Fear the man that's practiced one technique 1,000 times. And so it's that same kind of idea. If you have this one superpower, but you know how to juice it as much as possible and get the most out of it, that could be better than anything else, right? So.
Yeah.
It's actually funny that you say that, Curtis, because that's something that I say to creators a lot of time, particularly artists. When you see an artist saying, "Oh, I'm going to pencil, ink, color, and letter, and blah blah," I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, but would you be better off to focus on one of them and get really good at the one before trying to do something else, rather than let me just try to be average at all of these things, and then increase my averageness equally? It's like, wouldn't it be better if you could focus on one of the skills and get really good at that one skill?
Yeah.
Not every artist agrees with me, of course, but
Well, and the industry wouldn't reason with you either, because outside of the big two, there's a lot of independents that wants an artist who can do everything.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I mean, especially when you're talking about something that's production, right? When you're production, and even more so on a production schedule. I mean, that's a huge thing, right?
Strange enough, I've been coming across a lot of people hiring artists, especially artists who are animators, so they can draw and animate. And I don't like animation; I just like drawing. And you would think, to me, when I was an artist and animator, a lot of times I would start giving the stuff as I made it to the animator, so we would animate and I'd be drawing at the same time. Which think you would get it done faster than me trying to draw the whole thing and then animate the whole thing. But I don't know, apparently they were just like, yeah, but I only have to pay one person. It comes down to money. I just have to pay one person to draw and animate instead of two. So.
Well, and there's a challenge that I know a lot of people that work in the animation industry, people that work on the DC animated films, things like that. And the challenge they have is things get, of course, sent over to Korea and stuff like that to a studio. And maybe what they've done in pre-production, whether it's storyboards or character design, don't come back the same. And even one of the things that's kind of is a commonly known secret is you could send it to a studio over there, and that studio will subcontract it to another smaller studio that you don't even know about to get the work done. So you're not even getting it from the actual studio. Yeah. So you're not even getting it from the studio that you're sending it to. You're getting it from their subcontractor who you never meet. It's a tricky game. Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a commonly known secret.
I didn't.
Yeah.
And you were a concept artist in the game industry, right, Curtis?
Yeah. I started fresh out of high school. I got my first gig, which was crazy. And but that was fun. It was fun. And the stuff I was doing was getting sent to Japan.
For a second.
Yeah.
The Photoshop.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That's cool. Do you miss it at all?
I miss. Here's the thing. What it boils down to is it's kind of like I don't need. I mean, getting paid to do that is great, but I almost would rather work on my own stuff and create my own stuff for myself nowadays.
Yeah.
Is more satisfying. I think we've talked about before how many times I've lended my artistic talents to somebody else's project, and like a friend or whatever, they haven't necessarily reciprocated the favor. And it's the other thing we always talk about when somebody says this would be great for your portfolio. It's like, well, I could do my own art for my own project, which would be great for my portfolio.
Right.
But yeah, no, I miss it a little bit. And there's something fun about seeing something that you put on paper be completely transformed in an entirely different medium, right? Seeing it come to life, that's exciting,
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss that.
I think the thing I got, because I tried to do concept, and I, being a line artist and not a painter, that's a huge detriment going into that. Because I'm not a good painter. And but the thing is I always thought like you can go in the concept and create all this cool stuff you wanted, but then I realized, like, one guy said, I think it was my friend Tom, he's like, well, no, they basically want you to make the Nostromo from Aliens, but not the Nostromo. It's like they want you to do what's come before, but tweak it a little. And it's like, so like I was into like, oh, we can do imagination, we can make, and it's like, no, they don't want that. They want you to make a variation of something that's popular, so their stuff will sell. And I'm like, well, okay, that's stupid. That's not even concept.
Well,
and that was kind of depressing.
It depends, and not to go too far down, but one of the funny things I always found is a lot of people work in video games know this, is all the artists will be working on a project, and at the 11th hour, the producer will see a movie, and he'll come back and he'll say, "Okay, I saw this really cool movie last night. Let's change everything." And you go, "Dude, it's about to get released. Let's stick to the plan." Like, no. I saw this movie. Let's change everything. So that sucks.
Yeah, my boss did that. He saw Prometheus one time and came back and it's like, we need to change everything in this one comic. I was doing a comic or animation work. I was doing some art for him, and I was like, no, you don't need to do it. It's like, no, let's do it. And he made them all like Prometheus. Like, so
Well,
Like a
back to the
4-second
subject at
lag
hand.
on my work, so you'll just have to bear with me.
What happened?
Quentin J. Oh, I think Roberta's lagging just a little bit on it, but that's okay.
Yeah, more than a
Quentin-
little, but you
Yeah.
know,
Jo-
it'll
join
work.
the
I'll just have
party.
to pretend I'm like 5 times slower than I normally am.
It's all Roland's fault.
it is.
Yeah, we're lag party tonight.
Yeah. In the chat, Quentin J. Bedwell, I think he's talking about when we're talking about the power flight. He says, yeah, just coming in too hot and landing too hard and ba-boom. In other words, yeah, if you could fly that way, but you don't have like invincibility and vulnerability, you would shatter
Or
yourself.
wheels.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that on the road? Oh, that's Roland. He came in too fast.
I know.
He just went flat.
Rolling kill.
Rolling kill. Nice.
Roland has turned into a greasy spot.
Don't you folks sometimes feel like superhero powers in comic books now? Sometimes they get too meta. Like there's powers that are made to counter other powers that are already in the comic book universe. You have to
That
know
gets
the
a
genre.
little, yeah, when you have
Right.
one to like,
Yeah.
what was it, leech that can cancel other mutant powers. And I'm like, really? If mutant powers are created by genetics, which, okay, Storm's power is a far-fetched on that one. Do you really think genetics are going, hey, I know other genetic and DNA and other people making powers. Let's make a power to cancel that. Like, you're basically saying, like, well, then the genetics have to be self-aware, and that's not. So I'm just like, whatever. It's a comic book, so I'm like, whatever.
Actually, it's something as simple as releasing something, your body naturally releasing something into the air that causes those genes to go dormant in the people around them.
You could do that, but I mean, again, this is a comic book. In real life, if somebody actually made something that could suppress your genetic code, you would just die. Or be mutated or get cancer. So in a comic book you can do that, but in real life it's kind of like shutting the power off of a person. You just kill them. So but yeah, I mean, I don't know, that meta stuff always kind of got to me too. It seemed a little weird. Like, I think, well, I was a huge X-Men fan, and I lost interest in the X-Men when they made the X gene, because I'm like, look, I know basically how genetics works, and I know that's not how genetics works. So the fact that there was one gene for all mutant powers, I'm like, no, I don't like that.
Has anybody ever seen this movie called hear me out. It's called Amazon Women from the Moon. It's a comedy.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a funny show.
Do you remember the Invisible Man sequence in that? It's hilarious. Where he's the son of the Invisible Man, and the formula doesn't work, but he thinks it works. So he's running around naked, like through the bar, grabbing, bottles and telling people like, "Ooh, look, it's floating." And they're all like, "Just don't mind him. He's crazy." But he's totally not invisible. And it's this whole sequence.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I remember the one with Arsenio Hall in his house, and he kept like hurting himself or something, or
Oh, really?
there was some. It's been a while, because I think the Kentucky Fried Movie was actually the prequel to that. I think it was the same.
Oh my goodness, I remember that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
think it was the
movie's
same
hilarious.
guys that made
Yeah.
both of them. So yeah, they were both really funny.
Yeah, totally.
Especially the Bruce Lee segment in Kentucky Fried Movie. That's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Each time the guy's hand attachment gets crazier, and eventually it's like a blowtorch, and
Yeah.
he just keeps going.
It's just it's just like that was a dog barking, and it like it came up, and he like smacked the dog. He's like, "What was that?" Like he's like bark louder. So I don't know. That whole segment was funny. Of course, there's a lot of things in those movies. Even in the airplane movies, there's a lot of jokes that you couldn't get away with
Oh
today.
man.
Oh, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Airplane's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love
I,
that movie. So
I love the Jack Stryker sequence where every time he goes Jack Stryker in the background.
We've got to get them to, sir, we've got to get them to a hospital. What is it? It's a big building with lots of rooms, but that's not important now.
I think the favorite one was the drinking problem, where the guy just literally couldn't get a drink into his mouth. It was just so weird. Yeah, there was that movie. Yeah, it's hilarious, but yeah, I can see a lot of kids like, what? Especially when he's telling the story in the first one, the people keep killing themselves.
Killing themselves, yeah. Yeah, that's a great one.
We got a couple more comments in the chat. Quentin J. Bedell says, one power would be Methane Man, to be able to neutralize a crowded room. I've met some people with that power.
Yeah, there's already people with that power after.
Yeah.
Are you Methane Man?
No. So I'll add this. So I've got a novel that I finished, and Brett can chime in here. And I'm actually going to work on seeing if I can just go ahead. 10 years ago, I sent it out to a whole bunch of people and agents and stuff, which you got to have. But I think we've come along so far now. I think I'm just going to do it myself. But one of the characters in there. So long story short, heroes go through hero school and then they get placement into communities. So this one hero has to go to a little town in Mississippi, which he doesn't want to go to because it's Mississippi, right? But he meets this little kid who has the power to fart fire. So he calls him Fire Butt Boy.
Redneck superpower. That sounds like a superpower from Mississippi.
Well,
he's like, how'd you get your superpower, kid? I drink Daddy's moonshine straight out the distillery.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Kasisi
since I can't get to it, does one of y'all want to read? Barb contributed something in our group chat. I can't get to it, so I can't read what hers was. If one of y'all want to look that up,
I can check.
It's invisibility, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think hers was invisibility. Kasisi says that he's curious. Does anybody here on our panel not like magic, like Constantine or Doctor Strange? Which is a good question. Do you folks think magic is a superpower, or qualifies that, or is that more of a skill set? I'd be curious.
Yeah, I think that would be more of like a skill set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go with skill set.
Okay.
I think the problem for one of the reasons that I'm not a big fan of magic is that it seems to be too. I can conjure up whatever I want, whatever I need, whatever's convenient.
Well,
like Deus Ex Machina or Deus? What's the one with like you can think up something for a story anytime you need it? There's a phrase for it.
God of the Machine.
Yeah.
Deus
Machina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you just make something up.
Which means God of the Machine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be a repercussion for using magic. You can't just be, I'll just magic this and that's
right. There has to be every time there has to be an opposite to balance out what you do in magic. So
I always like it when they do that. That was a little bit of my problem with. I like the Harry Potter series, but the Harry Potter, I felt like they almost didn't make any repercussions for using the magic, and magic was just everywhere. And it was almost like, with modern man and technology, we have to build and invent technology, but it was like with magic, they just had it, if there was a problem, they just had to
toss in some Latin words and there's a spell.
There's a spell, yeah, and so it was a little bit. There was no repercussions of like using it or whatever. I don't know. I mean, she never really did address why the magical world split from the human world. I think she kind of mentioned a little bit, but there was never like you think of the magicians. I never understood why they were hiding from the human world when you're like, well, they could just come back and literally like not overtake the human world in a mean way, but just replace our technology. I mean, if their magic can do everything that they can conceivably think of, they can just come back to the human world like, yeah, you got all this technology, but look what magic can do, and they'd be like, problem solved. So I never understood like why they didn't like him or vice versa, but they should never explain that. So I'm like, okay.
I mean, I can kind of sit there and go, well, Salem witch trials.
Yeah,
You would think so, but you would think in modern day that wouldn't be, maybe superstition. Maybe, I don't know.
Well,
So
I mean, still as it goes, man, if they don't understand it, they fear it.
yeah, I don't know. It was just one of those. I kind of wish you would have maybe explained that a little more, because you kind of made the magic incredibly powerful. I mean, you could just do anything, and so
Yeah.
Well,
I think that
kind
ends
of
up being my overall problem with magic.
yeah,
because Cece kind of comments and says, if it's a skill set, can anyone do it? And I think that's the idea. I think
Well,
when
Doctor Strange learned how to do magic.
in some ways, I kind of appreciate if it's written right, because the idea of magic being something anybody can do, then it means that it's earned. It's not gifted to them. It's something that they have to go through a process
like martial arts.
Yeah. And like if you watch the Doctor Strange movies, I mean, they literally are doing martial arts in a whole bunch of the scenes while he's training magic. Just kind of an interesting note that the tie to martial arts is in Chinese, the written characters, the calligraphy for master, right, which is Sifu. In the oldest version of it, it's the same words for magician and the same words for mountain. The same characters compile and create those words. So it's always interesting to see how. Yeah, it's kind of out there, right? And Tommy chimed in. Tommy Flormonte says, "Magic's the best superpower. You can have whatever you want."
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Without any real rational explanation.
Yeah. And you wanted to know Barb's comment.
Expectorus lollipopus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Barb commented earlier, she's not joining us tonight, but Barb said absolutely positively her choice would be invisibility. She could listen in when somebody was talking about her and be a master spy and sneak into concerts without paying.
Sneak into concerts without paying. That's the best one.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Sneak onto a car dealership and get a new car.
Yeah, just drive off with it.
That would be stealing, though.
Yes, that's theft.
That would be. You'd have to test yourself a lot.
Yes, I think so.
I think
I heard
process.
That's actually kind of raises a good question. If you could have some of these powers, would you have to? Do you think? Because if you were invisible, I do think for me, and this may be revealing my personality, I think it would be tough not to just say go into a 7-Eleven and say I'd like to have this ding dong and this Coke and walk out.
Yeah. Well, if you really want to know what would happen if people were visible, go visit Twitter and see how people treat each other, and you kind of have an idea.
That's a good point.
Really? What is it? We probably shouldn't go down this. But what is it with people on Twitter and none of them use their names? It's like, it's like the comic expert. Okay, who are you? Why are you a comic expert? And I don't know if there's somebody named comic expert, but if there is, I'm sorry, comic expert. I don't know you, but they don't use their real name on there, and I'm like, what the heck?
And it's always the ones who are keyboard, and it's always the ones that are keyboard warriors that will just say anything like and you can't do anything about this. It's like, yeah, then one day I'm gonna find out who you are, and I'm gonna sock you in the mouth.
Well, think about what if the internet required you to actually every time you went any social media at all to actually list your phone number and contact and your real name? Would the internet completely change? It could.
Oh, I think it would.
Yeah. So
I think it absolutely would.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of fun that you brought that up because people are kind of invisible to a degree on the internet as far as being anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's certainly anonymous, and I do think that the anonymity and this is obviously a whole different topic, but the anonymity of it gives people a lot of, this
False
great.
sense of
Someone
power.
posted this meme. Yeah, well, it gives them a sense of, I can do this without any repercussions. There's this great video I saw somebody post. There's two dogs growling and barking at each other through a gate. Really going at it. And the guy opens the gate, and then they just kind of look at each other. The dogs do. They stop growling and they look at each other. Right? And he closes the gate again, and they go back to it, and then he opens the gate again, and they kind of stop. And I'm like, that's so much like the real world, Having these people on these social media places, they would not say these things to you if you were standing right there looking them in the face,
Oh yeah, and there's so much more power in being. It's so easy to tear things down than it is to build things up. It's like you see people that creators or actors or comic book artists. I mean, they spent forever developing the skill set, and all it takes is one person who just wants to kind of rain on their parade and tear things apart. So, yeah.
Well, this is why it's so funny that every time they show a new movie trailer or something, everybody is all of a sudden like a experienced director or experienced actor. This movie looks like, it's like, so do you want to post your degree for this or whatever? I do think it's that's the thing that irritates me the most on the internet. If you say you like something and it's not popular to be liked on the internet, then everybody like jumps on you.
Well, my favorite is have you folks seen sorry, go ahead, John.
Oh, apparently I'm pulling the errand today.
You are, and I'm just gonna let you do it.
No worries.
This is going well.
Go ahead, Curtis.
Thank you, John. No, what I was gonna say is the funny one is, have you seen the videos where it's like there'll be a reaction video where somebody reacting to like a trailer or whatever, and they crap all over this. Oh, this trailer is horrible. And then nowadays there'll be a reaction video from somebody else reacting to the other guy's reaction, saying, "I don't like how he reacted about this."
Oh my goodness!
But the floor is yours.
You can speak, John.
I think Roberta was about to.
Oh
no, I was just saying, it's funny that I'm getting this zone with my art where I've decided, okay, well, how about zero feedback? I'll just draw. I'll let the computer catch up when it feels like it, and undo it if I don't want to. It's an interesting challenge to have. Yeah. Anyway, no more.
I guess that works.
So is it?
What's that?
I was going to say that's why you know exactly what you're doing, and then finally hey, that did turn out okay.
God, I hope so. It's not. The undo seemed to not work, but we're fine now.
So your lag, Roberta, is it coming from you're seeing everything happen in real time?
I think it's happening from whatever memory, or probably video memory, is being taken up by the by streaming.
Yeah, I think that's what what my issues are. Of course, I wonder if I turn my video off of that. I didn't think about that. Try that. I'll see if that helps me at all. I'm not sure it will, but of course you won't see me moving, so
we don't see rolling.
I have had this problem
I'm not going to say
before,
anything,
but not to this extent. So it's not. So it's not
Right.
like all of a sudden something has changed.
Yeah, I have a love or hate relationship with computers because you need them for so much that you do, and yet when there's a problem, it can be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, I always had a problem with the touch technology, which I'm getting better at. But people would like look at my phone or something, and I would try to scroll or do something on their phone, and I would hand it back to them. Broke your phone. Sorry about that. And because I would hit something, it would go somewhere else. So I'm like, oh, sorry.
Or
didn't
a lot
need
of
that
times
phone,
people
did
will
you?
hand you the phone and they're like, here, check this out. And whatever they did to hand it to you moved it off of what they're trying to show you.
Yeah, and then so you just
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah, I'm not good, and I'm still amazed that people are able to type so fast when they're texting on phones. When I have conversations with
Oh.
people, sometimes they're like 3 or 4 sentences, and like, why is this guy taking so long? I'm still responding to your first question, person. Slow down, Jesus.
Yeah, my kids, both of them, you can see them typing with their texting with their thumbs. They can probably text on their phones as fast as I can type, and I'm a pretty decent typer. Yeah. So what you all didn't hear, and we're laughing at, is my son popped on in my ear and called me a geezer.
I thought he said, "I love you, Dad." Was that what he said?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's usually what comes out of his mouth.
Yeah. Yes. You didn't hear me? Yeah. Texting your gal. No, I said I was going to not show my video to see, I was going to turn off my camera to see if that helped me on my end as far as the lag. And
Well,
it
it
seems
kind
to
of
have helped
does
a little bit
because we
because you
don't
got
see
to
your
respond.
face.
Yeah. Well, and you seem to be responding to my voice quicker than like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
Because CC in the chat just mentioned, I think when we were earlier, we were talking about people using kind of interesting names, not their real names, as far as online interactions. He said it probably has to do with search engine optimization, keyword recognition, things like that. I think probably that, but I would think also anonymity. Wouldn't you folks agree?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they feel more confident to say what they really think.
Yeah. Speaking of SEO, we're working on our SEO on YouTube.
Yes, we're working on optimizing our keywords, hopefully getting more people to see us on YouTube. And I'm also going to be working a little bit on trying to get some kind of workflow as far as just having thumbnails for our YouTube videos, because right now they're basically just screenshots. So stay tuned for that. I'll figure something out for us.
Yeah, except for the very first ones.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone's energetic tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So what do you think? I got another question here. What do you think is probably if someone, and just put random people, not you, this is not you now. What do you think is the most dangerous single superpower? Now, not a character. Don't just pull out, Superman would be the most. Yeah, I get that, but Superman has like 20 different powers. A single power. What do you think is the most dangerous power for somebody to have?
Life force, like control. Like if they could affect other people and their.
It's and Dr. Manhattan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan. You're basically God, so that's never going to end well.
Yeah, anybody who fits into what we call the nuclear deterrent category.
Yeah. Have anyone seen that Star Trek Next Generation episode where they come across a planet and there's only 2 people living on it and everyone else is gone and they can't figure out where they're gone, and they beam down, and basically turns out one of the guys, he's an alien, but he's like a god. He has this like godlike power, and his planet was attacked, and in this split second of rage, he wiped out an entire race.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
That was a really good episode.
It was an elderly couple that they couldn't figure out why they were just living.
And they'd never heard of this race because he had literally wiped them out completely in that split second. So I realized, if you're a god, then having feelings and emotions, that's the recipe for disaster, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Get angry for a split second and everyone's dead. Because how many times have I been driving and I've just
Yeah.
really lost it with a guy in front. And if I had godlike powers, then
Oh man,
the roads would be empty. They're just me driving along an empty road.
yeah.
What's wrong with that?
I'm often very glad that I don't drive a smash up derby car. Y'all remember what those are, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, smash up derbies. where you-
Not at all,
yeah.
Roland. Not at all.
I know you do, John. I know where you live.
Even I know those.
What
Yeah.
you trying to say, Roland?
I'm trying to say I know those are very popular in the South. Outside of that, I'm not real sure.
Yeah, we used to have. I've been.
I'm in the ghetto South. Get it right.
The ghetto South. It's like the only reason I'm able to talk to you.
What about the chat, Curtis?
Yes, the chat. The chat has some comments. Tommy brought up a really good one. Tommy Flormonte says time travel could be really bad, and that's probably true. Probably one of the worst ones, right? Time travel.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'll be real good.
Yeah. And Quentin J. Bedwell says, as far as the powers, Franklin Richards, Scarlet Witch, reality warping, those are really bad ones.
Yeah.
Well, at least dangerous. They're definitely dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think mind control would be one of the worst ones. You know, I mean, it's like, can you imagine if everybody had, if one person was able to decide the fate of everybody's opinions and thoughts on things, you know, things like that.
That'd be great.
That'd be one of the worst ones.
I'd do so well.
That'd be great.
Yeah, telepathy. I guess telepathy would be really dangerous.
I'd get somebody else to dig my holes.
I know.
This is your power. I know it's my power, but you're gonna dig them.
Telepathy would be really dangerous once again because if you have that one bad day,
Yeah.
and if you're able to like reach and you kind of like reach out, you can pretty much make everybody vegetables.
Yeah.
If you wanted.
I think super strength also is just kind of a given in that, you know, super strength, the ability to do that, you know, on a bad day, you could just go really wrong. So, yeah.
I would think any power that has something to do with radiation of some kind would eventually be bad, especially if you dispelled radiation when you use the power.
Yeah. You know, I never thought magnetism, I mean, if it wasn't for Magneto, I don't think I would think how dangerous magnetism is, but that's like a perfect example of something that would seem almost like a mundane power, but becomes deadly, you know, in the wrong person's hands.
Oh, Jubilee.
Oh, yeah.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Human Torch, you know, that could be bad.
Jubilee's powers suck. Yeah, have you ever seen a fireworks warehouse blow up?
Have you, John?
Apparently, yes, I have actually.
John strikes me as a guy that's been responsible for a few fireworks warehouses.
It's either it blew up or Peter put a hole there.
We're going with the whole theory.
Good luck telling that to police.
Yeah.
What? That
I
actually
think there
does sound
was, you know, yeah. Where was that?
Where? Yeah.
Oh, it was huge, wasn't it? It was on the news. It was.
Yeah.
Where was that? Turkey, I think. Was that Turkey?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't remember where, but
you saw the shockwaves from it. Across the city. Yeah, that was awesome.
You could see the water just like, you know, the shockwave.
Lebanon.
Oh, Lebanon. Okay. Yeah, that was crazy.
See?
Was that what that was? The one where they were filming it from the video?
That's what they said, yeah. That's what they said.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Not convinced.
So if you would... So here's a question for everyone. So following on Roland's, what power would you give your best friend? If you can give a superpower to your worst enemy, what would that be?
Oh my gosh.
Now, of course, you can get really vindictive on this one.
Oh, yeah. like everything that they touch turns to sand. Like they get
Yeah.
across the water and sand.
Oh,
But I would have to run away from them, right? Because if it's my worst enemy, they might chase after me, and then
Yeah, you'd have to do
Yeah.
something that wouldn't come back on you.
Yeah, exactly.
All of their bodily functions are visual.
Oh,
So they can't belch or fart and not be seen
or heard.
or heard.
Well,
Yeah,
well, on that subject,
they can't do any SBDs.
Well, on the subject of flatulence, what if it is that they can't breathe oxygen? They can only breathe methane gas from another human being, and that's the way they have to stay alive.
Oh,
I think
that's evil.
Yeah.
Hey, what is
So
he
they can-
doing? He's breathing to live, man. He's breathing to live.
Yeah. And they can live forever on that. They can live on that. So they have the ability to be immortal, but they have to subject themselves to that for an eternity. So that's the superpower too.
So it's like a really screwed up. What was that one movie? It's like the superpower version of Human Centipede.
Human Centipede. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I would now this might be more of a curse than a superpower, but if you can like curse them at a very low audible level, hear like the Monster Mash 24 hours a day.
Oh.
Or like some other horrible song, or how about like a dentist drill?
Oh, the chat's
Oh,
blowing up,
man.
guys. Quit. All right, so
Okay.
so Tommy says y'all be nasty, which is true.
That's so nasty.
And then I guess after everybody answers this current question, Quentin and Cassisi have some good questions. Quentin's question is, what power would you give to your wife? And
Whatever power keeps me from getting in trouble.
yeah.
Right.
And Cassisi says, what superpower do you think humankind is the closest to reaching? But we'll get to those
Well, that's
after
an
we
interesting
find out.
one.
Yeah. But I guess we still haven't heard from everybody else as far as what you would give to your enemies. So
I don't know. Death.
Superpower of death.
You have one superpower. You can die anytime you want, and that'll be it. Dead once. Living death. Make him a zombie. Yeah.
Make him a zombie.
Zombie. I think that's a superpower. Don't have any enemies, sadly, that I know of. Well, then no one knows I'm the whole, so.
The whole.
The
Oh,
The whole.
I'm trademarking that one, by the way. No one can have that.
Copyright
Yeah.
trademark. You Clinton.
Don't know.
If I had a wife, maybe I would superpowered like maybe not have her hear her name when I say it. That way I could say anything and she would just not I don't know, maybe that would be mean.
I think I would give my wife the
Careful
power
now.
of yeah, I know. I have to be very careful. The power of doppelganger.
Yes.
You know,
She can get
so yeah. So so if she needed to, she could create another her.
That's for you, Roland. Come on now. I also would like to give that to my girlfriends. Yes. Make as many of yourselves as you like. Although that could end up.
That's right.
I know.
This one's
That's a lot of
Monday.
shoes.
This one's Tuesday. This one's.
It's a lot of shoes
Wednesday.
and a lot of nagging.
I know I could see Peter getting in an argument with his wife who could do that. Okay, you cannot multiply and hit me with 5 different arguments. That's not fair.
Why don't you just share the shoes?
One of them's just taking
Yeah,
notes
yeah,
and
there you
writing
go.
down dates.
You can't wear all the shoes on the same day, so just share.
them.
Just share.
Oh, we need a shoes each. Uh-huh.
Come on.
I would give my wife the ability to not be annoyed with me or disappointed.
Yeah.
It's like oh, I didn't wash the dishes well enough. She's like, it's okay, no big deal. I'm not annoyed.
That'd be a good one.
And what if
Yeah,
she wished the opposite
or
of
not to-
you, the annoyance of things that that
I'm not
she
saying that doesn't
That
say
was-
a lot about you, Curtis, but
Huh?
when you say my wife's not to be annoyed, I'm like, wait a minute.
Total self-interest. The chat's blowing up again. So Quentin J. Bedwell says, not me. I'd have 2 women after me to pick up after myself.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Tommy Florimonte says, I need the superpower to ink faster to make Pete and Roberta happy with me.
Oh,
Oh,
that's cute.
I need the power to draw faster.
that's a sweet one.
Yeah, Peter, you
There
really
you
do
go.
need the power to draw fast. I mean, the idea is to actually finish a page once in a while.
Oh, tell me about it.
Oh.
I know. No, I'm gonna fall in a hole.
Yeah,
We
I was gonna say.
We just see
You wanna
Aaron's
be
chair
careful.
just like
Can you
drop
dig me
on
one?
the camera.
I know.
That
On
would
the
be funny.
news, man falls in hole and his
Man
movie
falls
comes out of
down.
nowhere.
But man is there to encourage him to get out. Under his own motivation. Come on, get out of there.
Yeah, he can get out of there.
Stop messing around. On the, he can get out of there. He just has to try harder.
That's right. Yeah. There's some bootstraps.
I believe it. You can do it.
You can do it.
That's right.
Oh, I've lost that pencil again. God damn, there it is.
How about
Tying your
Cassisi's
pencils up.
question, guys? Cassisi's question about what superpower do you think humankind is the closest to reaching?
I have to say probably the one that we're close to. Now, whether this is a superpower or not is cybernetics. We already have closely, but I do think we're getting to that point. Some scientists have even said, well, I mean, the possibility of immortality in the future, if they can find a way to rejuvenate cells.
Yeah, that would
Now,
be-
of course, I would hate to be 70 years old and hear that. I'm like, really, you couldn't have got that when I was younger. I think I'm
Nice
missing
to have when I
that
was
window
25.
of opportunity. Strange enough, I would hope. I think the one that we might be now, whether this is a superpower for a person, but just for society, because he didn't really specify. Basically, like room temperature fusion reaction, like a fusion, a self-sustainable fusion. They're doing something with like paper. I think it was Japan that were able to. I think it was superheat plasma, the temperature of the sun for like a few minutes.
Yes, they got that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Really?
So I mean, that would be. I mean, that would solve like so many problems around the world if they could do that. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I would think maybe I don't know if it's a superpower, but like predict certain things. I mean, like because of algorithms and things like that. I mean, like
Yeah.
predicting weather, predicting. I think sometimes there's pretty far out there stuff when it talks about human potential for like psychic ability, not like in terms of moving telepathy or anything like that, but certain things. There's some advances there. But,
Mhm.
yeah. I
Real
don't know.
close.
Yeah.
You mean use the AI to predict something more than people's shopping habits?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
I think Cassisi is wondering if John's on mute. He hasn't heard enough from John, so I don't know if John, if you're on mute.
It's because I'm online. He just kind of sits there and If you could
Oh,
unmute
it's
John with
frozen,
me
but-
online, it would just be nonstop, profanity.
Oh, he is on mute.
He is on
John,
mute.
you are on mute.
Yeah.
You are on mute. Thank you, Cassisi, for pointing that out. Yeah, John's on mute. Yeah, we
like
can't
trying
hear
to
you.
cut me.
You can't.
Try again.
He's actually not on mute, but his sound's not coming through. When he muted
Yeah,
himself,
yeah.
I saw
Yeah,
the mute-
yeah. I don't
mute
see him
sign
mute.
come up. Yeah. He muted himself briefly, and I saw the sign come up, and then he unmuted it, but we still couldn't hear him.
Can y'all hear me
This has
now?
been the night.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, we can hear you
Yes.
We
now.
got you. Thanks,
better.
John. Now we can hear you.
This has been the night from techno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hit mute because my phone started playing music just all on its own. Like it started
Oh,
up
really?
Pandora on its own. So I hit mute so I could shut it off. And I cut it back on, and I guess it just said, no, you're not going to talk. They don't want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I guess it is 10:58. I guess time to kind of wrap things up.
All right.
Want to thank everybody for playing tonight. So next week, I don't know if you guys listened to the Wednesday show, but next week, I think one of the things we're going to do is we're going to do a dramatic reading of a couple of of a couple of Silverline comics.
Wow.
We're gonna have a little fun at our own expense. So so you guys get
Everybody
ready for
working
that.
the funny voices.
That should be fun. Of course, you know, Pete gets all of the evil European voices.
Yes.
Except for the British ones. and we should probably determine that he has to speak in a French accent.
Oh, bonjour.
He's just going to do it like Sean Connery does. Sean Connery's. Oh, Sean Connery's English. Yeah, but he sounds Scottish.
Yeah.
So
he's American, but he sounds Scottish.
So right, every one of his characters. So yeah, we'll have a little bit of fun at our own expense there.
That'd be fun.
Don't forget. Also, next Sunday is when we'll be ending our Kickstarter. So you've got a whole week to back Teen Beetle and Switchblade #1. I'll make sure that there's a link in the description. So if you can't already find it, hopefully you already know where that link is. So go seek it out. If not, I will put it in the description. Go check it out. Still lots of fun comic books to be had. Teen Beetle and Switchblade #1 is going to be a flip book like some of the others in the past. So you've got a week to go. I think it's 8 days is what it shows on Kickstarter. I'm not going to open up a browser, so because that will probably crash my computer. So we'll just go around. I don't see an around. So I'm just going to pass the baton off to somebody to Curtis. I see you at the top of my little list here. So Curtis, tell everyone where they can find you on the interwebs.
Sure, definitely. And real quick, some of the folks are just saying goodnight. CC Quinton said goodnight. So good night, guys. And Tommy says goodnight too. As always, a great show. Fun listening in. So thanks, everybody. As for me, you can find me on Facebook, Curtis Fujita. You can also find me on Instagram and YouTube. You can find me through two different sources, my martial arts school, Tiger Crane Kung Fu on Facebook and Tiger Crane 805 on Instagram and YouTube. And my upcoming comic book, Shadow Ghost Comic on Instagram, and just look up Shadow Ghost on Facebook. That's where you can find me. And I guess I'll pass the baton on to, I think, John. John?
All right, you can find me all over the interwebs. John Martin Art will generally will help you find me on Twitter or Instagram. Of course, John Martin Art. I think if you type in at John Martin Art, it'll actually pull up my artist page on Facebook. Of course, Patreon. I will say that tomorrow I am doing another stream where I'll be hanging out sketching with another artist. It's going to become a weekly thing, so you can tune in there and you can see who is joining me. Tomorrow will be Brian Silverbacks, who has done some work with Scout Comics and whatnot. I met him, pretty cool guy, some years ago at Memphis Comic Expo. So, and there will be some more Silverline folks popping in on that thing too. Pete's going to do one, and
nice.
I think I'm waiting to hear back from AJ. to see if he wants to do one. But and some other folks like Drew Moss and Ryan Kincaid have already agreed, and Kelly Williams. So it's gonna be fun.
Nice. Sounds good.
Very cool.
All right. I guess next up then is Pete.
Yes, it's all very simple. Peter Clinton Art. Just type it into Google. You'll get my website, or you'll get my Instagram, or you'll get my Facebook, or you'll get my Twitter. It's really handy. So yeah,
We
drop
love
me a
the
message on the Google.
Yeah, we love the Google.
Type it into the Google, and yeah, drop me a message, or tap like, or
Follow,
or not,
subscribe.
or not, whatever, you know.
Yes. All those good things.
See how much you like holes. Find out.
Yeah. Roberta, what about you? Where can we find you on the interwebs?
Well, you can find me under Roberta Conroy or Roby Conroy. For, I guess, I do have Twitter, but I don't talk on it much. And Instagram and Facebook mainly. So
Nice. And I noticed you're also in the Discord channel.
I am.
Yeah. Just
Oh,
as
right,
as
Discord. What's
I don't
that?
know. I don't know if there's if you have to post a link for that or not, but
there's an invite. We put it out. We'll put another one out. We'll promote it a little bit more. There was an invite to the channel on our the Silverline posting last week or week before. I can't remember.
yeah.
We'll put another one out. Get folks there. But yeah, so that's as a way of reminder, folks. We do have a Discord channel. Join us. Not a whole lot of action there yet, but we're working on seeing if we can't get that better. The gaming side has been very active. A lot of the gamers here.
The gaming side is doing a lot. So
yeah, so we need to get the comic book side up and going. Aaron, what about you? Where can folks find?
Me? I'm well hidden on the internet by straight purpose, especially with Roland lurking around on there. And but no, you can find me on Facebook at Humphreys Illustration, or my name, ALH3810 is my Instagram, and then you can find my comic Goblins on Webtoons. I think that's
nice.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's all. All the other social media stuff I haven't used yet. Twitter, I avoid like the plague. I really shouldn't, but I do. I just no.
I tend to avoid it as well. I tend to make the post and then run.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I want you guys to know, hey, look, we got a Kickstarter, and then I
run away
get out of there so that I don't.
Yeah.
So people don't start throwing rocks and stuff at me. So you can find me as well on all the relevant social media places. Just Roland Man. I think I'm Man Roland on Twitter. And certainly haunting all the Silverline pages, links of which you will find down there. Please don't forget to, I noticed this the other day, please don't forget to like and share and subscribe. Pete reminded me of this. He was saying it. All of our pages, subscribe to them. That doesn't cost you anything on any of the services, not yet anyway, that I'm aware of, because we're not getting money from it. So subscribe to all of them. Hit the notification thing. Certainly on YouTube. Don't forget we've got a merch store. Curtis, can you hold up your lovely mug again there? Yeah, Curtis has this this mouse mug that he picked up off of our merch store, and so it's fantastic. We've got some other things up there as well.
that is Zazzle.
That is Zazzle, yep. And I think there will be a link in the info below as well. Our Wednesday Wham crew will be here on Wednesday at 9 p.m. talking about. They'll also do a theatrical reading of some comics. So we're because Wednesday, and then we kind of follow them. So they'll be there. Shout out again to Daytona Beach Comic Con for being a sponsor of us. We appreciate it. I am going to work very hard to try to get a graphic that we can put up. But we appreciate them and Tom. What else? Am I forgetting anything, guys? Sound like I hit everything.
Good.
You talked about the Kickstarter, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Talked about the Kickstarter. Go
Enough.
back it.
Well, maybe one last thing, if I can interject, in regards to the
Please.
Kickstarter. Thank you, everybody who supported us, who's got us through yet another Kickstarter. We really appreciate all your help. It's tremendous, and we're going to keep making great comic books as long as you folks keep supporting us. So thank you, and keep spreading the word.
And you can, I guess
Absolutely.
maybe you could buy Silverline comics on any planet, which is cool.
Yep. So Silverline comics are available on any planet, and I sent out a message the other day to our team chat. But we had a really good day one day last week. We sold 16 books in a day, which is not a really common thing for us, but. It was very fun to get the email saying that, hey, you sold 16 books. I'm like, wow, all right. So I'm going to assume these were not one person, although I would think maybe one person ordered multiples.
Well, how many books do we have on there? 16.
You know what? Probably about 16.
So I wonder if somebody actually just bought. I mean, that's still pretty cool that somebody bought an entire run. Yeah.
I don't have the answer for that.
Yeah,
I don't know. That information is, Indie Planet is a store, and so that information is not available to us as to who bought them or anything. So
yeah,
hopefully whoever bought them will drop us a line and let us know what they thought. Also, I thought about this one more thing. So in the Silverline Comics group on Facebook, for all of you who are on Facebook, I posted some links to some fan awards that are up. So should you feel so inclined, follow those links up and vote for your favorite Silverline books. Hopefully, this is the first year Silverline's been nominated for any comic work. So hopefully we'll be able to bring home an award or two. So you guys go check that out, and this is for books in 2020, of which we did 4 Kickstarters. So we have a handful of things that are eligible for awards there. So you guys go look at that. Vote on us. Vote for the stuff that we're in the categories that we're in, if you feel so inclined. And I guess that's it. Yes.
Actually, real quick one, just if you folks do want to vote, you do want to join that group that those polls are on. So just make sure to join the group first, and then you'll be allowed to go ahead and make your votes for us. Okay. Thanks.
Gotcha. So you have to join before you can vote, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I learned that too because I went in the vote. So, and I think it's an automatic join. I don't think you have to wait to join. When I joined, it was like an automatic. So you just click join, and then you can just vote.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. You can hear Pete's.
Sorry.
There. That's all right. All right. Well, until next week, guys. Remember to make your mind Silverline.
Silverline.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Night.